I released my very first book. It's called Pages, Poems, Reflections, and Lyrics, and it's actually the companion piece to my EP, The Call. And that's just a little labor of love that I put together. I've been writing poems since I was like 15, 16. You know how teenage girls do, they get in all their feelings and just start writing. So I compiled all those poems and I put them together in my very first book, which I am very proud of. But also inside the book, it includes the backstory and the lyrics to my songs. So I thought it was a really cute little thing to, you know, do. People, they want to get to know you more than your music nowadays. So I thought it was a really cool way to do that. I took a number of years to put my book together. Initially, I did not know I was going to write a poetry book. So it really was kind of spur of the moment, but I was praying, I was talking to God, and I was like, God, I want to write a book, I want to write a book. You know, I know you've given me a gift to write, I want to write a book. And he was just like, you already have a book, look at all these poems and all these things that you wrote. And I was like, oh, okay. So really what I did was I compiled a lot of the poems and reflections that I had throughout the years, and I just put them together. I tweaked them. Because, you know, when you're younger, you write a lot different than when you get older, and you're really conscious about the message that you're trying to convey. So I definitely tweaked them and moved some things around. And I wrote a whole bunch more because at that point I was like, okay, this is a book. It needs to be a certain amount of pages, all of that good stuff. So my writing process is very, very simple. I'm very emotional. So I write off of my emotions, whether that's good, bad, happy, sad. But in this writing process, I definitely disciplined myself a little bit more. I gave myself a deadline and I said, okay, this needs to be done by this date. And I still needed like at least 4 or 5 more entries to my book. So I said, okay, I carved out time. And I'm a writer by heart. I have lists for everything. So I made an outline as to how I wanted my book to flow. And I wrote like my own little mission statement. What do I want this book to do? So when I had to come up with these new poems or these new reflections, I really looked at my mission for the overall book. And I said, okay, what do I want to say here? So I'd be inspired by something somebody said at work. And I was like, that would be good for my book. And I just begin to go and edit and edit and edit and edit and tweak and just go back and forth until it was perfect. So I think I have a really simple writing process. Perhaps in my books to come, I'll be a little bit even more disciplined. And also I feel like writing a poetry book gives you a lot more freedom and leeway, opposed to writing a fiction or a nonfiction book. You know what I mean? Those type of books, you have to be very like straight to the point. But a poetry book is like, you know, you just putting your feelings out there. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be so strongly structured. So I think that was good for a good choice for my first book, especially since initially I didn't really know that it was going to be a book. I was just writing in my journals. And I actually still have all those journals. What? So yeah, like I said, I didn't know it was going to be a book, but once I decided that it was going to be, I just, you know, put my head down and just said, okay, I'm going to knock this book out. And it is really a labor of love of mine. And it's just something to show the world who I am and give them a little bit more insight into my mind and my thinking process and what I feel about things. So if I were to give a first-time writer advice, I would definitely say to don't be fearful. Do what you love first, and that's writing. I know so many people with amazing stories, and when I ask them, why haven't you written a book about this? Oh my goodness, this would be a great book. I would totally buy this. They cower and they say, no, I don't know how to do that. Well, you know how to write, right? So just do that. Write first. I initially did not know that my book was going to be a book, but once I saw, whoa, I can put this together. And I can add to it, it can be something. I just let loose and went at it. My love is to write. So why not just do that? If you don't have the outlets yet to publish your book or to have somebody do designs or all of those things, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Do the first work first, because at the end of the day, you can't put a design to something that's not there. So just write and just let it go and let it flow. And at the end of the day, like I said, I believe everybody has a story to tell. So why not render that story? There are billions and billions and billions of books out there. And as far as like success goes, I think it all depends on how you measure success. So don't worry if it's not #1 on Barnes and Nobles. You've accomplished something, and that's putting a book together and putting it out. So don't be afraid to write. Give the world your story. That's why the world is so unique. There's so many millions and millions of stories. So like I said, just go ahead and write, and all of the rest will fall in line. There's so many outlets, and we have the internet now that you can just type in, how do I self-publish a book, or how do I get a publishing deal? And you can figure that out later on. But if you have nothing to publish, then you have nothing. So yeah, definitely just go for it. My book is available now at CreateSpace and Amazon.com. The name of it is Pages, Poems, Reflections, and Lyrics by Jenise La Vonne.